won't fight, chasing shadows in the night. Promises made, but I let them fade. Caught in the cycle, I'm feeling betrayed. Round and round, I'm losing ground. Trying to break free, but I can't see. These negative patterns are haunting me. Nights turn to days, I'm losing my way. Thought I found peace, but it's led me astray. Chasing the high, but it only brings pain. The more I run, the less I gain.
Hey everybody, hey, and welcome to another episode of Tarka Say It Again. And today we have with us Krishaya Simmons, and she is the risk and forensic analyst. And she will be speaking with us today more, I guess we would say specifically, in dealing with elderly. That's our topic today, the elderly, the geriatrics, and how we sometimes see them being scammed, people getting over on them. And she's going to talk with us and give us a little insight on that specifically. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. And thanks for joining us today.
No problem. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. I would like for you to share some of your experience in dealing with the elderly. I know you mentioned to us that you focus not just on the elderly.
Yes, but also vulnerable adults, so people who may not have full mental capacity or people who are being taken care of by caregivers. So not necessarily just elderly people, but like all types of vulnerable adults.
Okay. And that's vitally important. I mean, it's really going on today. We seeing it on the news. Hey, we getting text messages of people just trying to scam people with the way the economy is today. But it's just like, we work so hard, we save this money, and then for somebody to just come and just take it like they didn't work for it. That is so unfair. But it's happening, y'all. It is happening, definitely. And we want to dig deep with that specifically, and I'll share some scenarios, and she's going to give us a little data, a little something, We talk about what we're seeing out here today and how the elderly, for a lot of different reasons, they are, and that's something if you want to share some of those reasons, but like I know specifically, sometimes it's for companionship.
Yes.
The
romance scam is something that is very popular in this new age of everyone kind of meeting on the internet, especially during the pandemic times. You couldn't meet with people, especially elderly people. So that was kind of a shift in our social interactions. And when you meet someone online, you don't know who they are behind that facade of the computer. But it's really interesting how they take these people and they tell them all these stories and give them all these hopes and dreams. And then when they feel like the time is right, they strike. And they don't even realize what's happening because they're so caught up in the companionship of something. We're thinking elderly people, they may have lost their spouses, they may be separated from their family. This is all they really want, someone to talk to, someone who they feel like listens to them, has compassion for them. And it's really sad to see them get taken advantage of in this way.
It is, and I like that you said hope, like giving them hope, hoping that this is the right one, hoping he or she can be there for me. We call it selling them a dream.
Yeah.
And we see it taking place. There was just an incident because you talked about the facade and you not knowing who's behind the computer or whatever, right? And there was an incident where there was a man and he was pretending to be a woman for this other guy. So it was a man tricking a man, but he pretended to be a woman. And guess what? The man got the other man money from him talking, getting in his ear, playing with him emotionally. And hey, he scammed him out of a lot of money. And it was sad just hearing it because the stories that they give you, their life savings and gone just like that. And sometimes it's not a one time, it's just a
gradual thing.
yes,
It's a continuous thing.
Yes.
That happens a lot too. It's like, oh, I need you to send me $700 right now because my lights are getting cut off. Or I need to pay rent and I'll give it back to you. Or I need to buy a part for my car. You know, it's something that's very sympathetic. And it's like, oh, I want to help this person because this person cares about me and I care about them and I want them to be happy. But it's like, over time, you realize I'm withdrawing thousands of dollars from my account. And one day you wake up, it's not there. This person doesn't exist. They took everything that you had. And it's really disheartening.
Yes. Playing on their emotions. And I know just in thinking about that, what is it that you could share with the people? Because just in thinking about it, I would say for those that are taking care or have parents, right? That falls in that category, like communicating with them, talking with them, providing opportunities, and I say experiences because you have a lot of telemarketers that's calling these phones, and some of them come up spam risk and some don't, you know, like real numbers, right? And you're like, hello, and it's like, hi, this is, and it's not who you think it is. But I would say simply having those conversations with our parents or whoever we may be taking care of and making sure that they are vetting them.
Yeah.
Having them to provide who they are.
Who they work for, what their name is, what department they're in. And it's simply because a lot of older people think that when people call them, they're telling the truth. And that's like, in this day and age, you have to assume first that this is a scam. Then once they start giving more information, they tell more, you're like, okay, maybe
I can give you a little more.
Exactly. But I always say, very important institutions are not going to call you first. That's just not something that they do. The bank is not going to call you and say, hey, I need all of your information. Give it to me right now in order to settle something. The bank has all of your information. You know, like that's the first thing that you do when you open up your bank account. So they're not going to call you and say, hey, I need you to give me your social security number and all of this information about you so I can help you solve this dispute. That just doesn't happen. That's just not something that's real. It's so easy because they don't think that someone's going to get over on them. And once it happens, it's already too late because you didn't get any information from this person. A lot of times people are getting scammed and they're not even getting names. Like obviously it could be a fake name, but there are things that are traceable like IP addresses, phone numbers, email addresses. Because typically with these type of scams and these type of frauds, it's going to be the same person doing it over and over to different victims. And we see that pattern. Like that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go in and we're supposed to look and we see the patterns and we connect the dots. And that's how we find people and say, okay, this person is running some very elite scheme over this population of people in this location or wherever. Or they have a partner that's also helping them. Because a lot of times it's multiple people running these scams. And they will hide behind legit businesses, but you also have to do your due diligence of saying, okay, this is a legit business, but does this person actually work for this business? You know, who do they work for? What is the company or department that they're under with this business? You know, that's like really, really important. But I always say, rule of thumb, never give your information out to anybody over the phone, through text, through email. Don't just click on stuff. Like that's like the main thing. Oh, I clicked on something and it signed me up for a $20,000 membership. Why are we clicking on this? Like, why are you just seeing something like, okay, this has to be legitimate. This has to be real. We have to start using discernment. And like you said, we need to have these conversations. Like I have these conversations all the time with my grandparents. Don't just click on anything. And if someone is rushing you and saying this has to be done right now, that should be your red flag right there.
Right. I like that.
Because nothing is that urgent. Right. If you're not dying,
it can wait till tomorrow.
It can wait. You have at least a little bit of time before you have to make a big decision like that, especially if you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's key. That's key. Would you say that, or have you experienced it being inside jobs? You know, like the people that are taking care of them, or maybe a family member, a grandchild, or have you experienced
I
that?
have experienced that. I've seen that a couple of times. You put people in your home, you trust them, you trust family members, and they know that because the other members of the family or the children have that trust in you, that they're not going to think twice about you probably getting over on their parent or you probably getting over on their family member.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a very slippery slope because sometimes people do take advantage of these people and they admit guilt.
Okay.
And they say, I feel bad for what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Or I shouldn't have done that. You know, I needed the money or I needed this thing and I took advantage of them and I feel guilty for it. Like that's good, but at the same time, you still committed a crime.
Right.
But it's just, you have to really do your due diligence, especially when you have strangers coming into your home too,
Mm-hmm.
being caregivers, because they don't really have that same empathy or sympathy for you all. And if they feel like I can get over on this person, I can take advantage of this person, there's really nothing in place that's stopping them.
Mm-hmm. What type of house cleaning advice would you give as far as, I guess, those personal items? Because we talked about someone coming into your home, you know, like putting up their items or providing some kind of secure location. Like, what could you offer?
I definitely would say having a safe or having something that is like a safe that's not necessarily, oh, I have to keep putting in a code because that may not be something that your elderly
Can remember.
or people can remember. And you want to be able to access that because if they have a caregiver or they have somebody that's taking care of them, they're going to say, oh, this is my password for this. And they give that freely.
Yeah.
They don't see an issue because they think in their mind, oh, I can trust this person. This person is taking care of me. But everyone doesn't have good intentions. So definitely always have a safe keeping spot. And you as the family member or child know what that is. Know where it is. Know where all the documents are. Periodically check in and see if those documents are there.
Yeah.
And, okay, I know I put them in this order and they're in a different order. Okay, somebody's been messing with them. And then you have that conversation. Hey, have you touched your social security card, your birth certificate, your whatever? And if they say no, okay, now your red flag is up. Someone's been messing with this stuff. Someone's got a hold of this information. See if there's been any like things on your credit. People open new cards. Call the bank. See if anybody opened up a new line of credit, opened up a new bank account, ask for a loan. Like those are things that people do. And if they have the person with them all day, every day, they can easily hand the phone over and they can say, yeah, sure, fine, whatever, you know? So like making sure you're having those check-ins with those institutions and they know, hey, I'm the authorized user, I'm the child, niece, nephew, grandchild, whatever. So they have that communication with you as well. Because if they see something, they will reach out to you. And they're like, hey, this happened, but I don't think this was supposed to happen. Was this you? And if it wasn't you, now you know, hey, my parent, my grandparent, whoever is getting taken advantage of.
Right. So I guess continuing to have those conversations, communicating, doing periodic checkups, those are all good things to make sure that everything is still aligned and in place.
And also keeping them informed. Like the toll scam is relatively new. A lot of people didn't know about it because it just was new. And people think, okay, yeah, I know we go through tolls, especially in New York City, the new congestion tolls. Everyone's like, I don't even know, are we doing it? Are we not doing it? So it's like, there's a lot of confusion around stuff like that, especially people who travel a lot, go over state lines. They don't know how stuff works.
Yeah.
So like, that's an easy scam that people have been falling victim to. And if people don't know, how do they know that they're being scammed? You know, until after the fact. So being informed with what's going on may not always be in the news. You may have to hear it from other people, word of mouth, but still knowing, okay, this is happening. Let me let someone know.
And I know clearing up any uncertainties would be good to just simply calling them to verify, to be sure this is who you say you are is also good. I know, today our topic was more so the elderly or the geriatrics, but you share that it's not just for them, but the vulnerable. Anybody could be scammed. Is there any last piece of information that you think would be valuable for them to take away?
Yeah, I definitely think my main thing is do your due diligence. Because even people my age get scammed all the time. So it's just making sure that logically it makes sense to you. Okay, this person makes sense to be reaching out to me. This person makes sense that I would be talking to. I know this person. I know where they work. That kind of situation. And when you're dealing with vulnerable people as well, making sure they understand, because it's not necessarily all the time where they don't understand, this is right, this is wrong, this isn't what you're supposed to do, but maybe they need a little bit of extra help. So making sure that you're doing those reminders, those check-ins, like, hey, we don't talk to this person, we don't give this kind of information out. Where is this information that it's in a safe place, it's in safekeeping? Don't just tell everyone your password. Don't give everyone your phone with open access to it. Like, just making sure that you're doing your due diligence for yourself and for the people around you who may need a little extra help.
Okay. Well, hey, you heard it straight from the risk
and forensic
analyst. And hopefully you got something out of today's session. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. You all have a good one.